Hell yeah, we're live. Let's go. Oh no, I can't find the clips. That isn't good. Please tell me I can find the clips that I've liked. Yes, I can. Oh, I'm gonna be here forever. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Have I got everything ready? Yes, I do. A very lucky man. What the fuck? There we go. Welcome. So, today we have a couple things we can do. We got Dreamcast Guy, we got Harmon, we got a bunch of MBG clips, and I need to go through and find some Reforge clips. As that was one of the big things I was missing, so I'll quickly go find those, give me a second so we have everything set up, and then we can get started with the stream. I will find those Reforge clips, I don't care how long it takes me to get them, I will get them. I think I saved them. I should have bookmarked them. And then that should be everything covered. Okay, no I do not. Gaming. We're gonna search it up quickly, then we'll get everything started. Gaming Elden Ring. I need to find those clips of him getting really mad at Elden Ring, and then that will be good. But anyway, I'll find those a bit later in the stream. We can get started. So, the first individual we'll be covering today is Dreamcast Guy, because he thought it would be a little bit funny to say that people are wrong about the PS5 Pro. And as you can see, it doesn't look like people are necessarily happy. Let's see. Oh yeah, he sold it to his girlfriend. Amazing. So, we'll get started with Dreamcast Guy.
Dreamcast Guy here, and today we're talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro because the first batch.
This BF.
Bruh, we got an ad already. This is great. I'm loving it. Shoo, go away. Ad. Bruh, I'm not paying for YouTube Premium. You can't make me, champ. We'll also check while we're doing this.
Numbers have
Is
just
the audio
been released.
okay?
And,
Yes, it is.
Yeah, the internet was completely wrong about this, and I
We
include
are?
myself in that. The PlayStation 5 Pro is a crazy gangbuster success. In fact, by a lot of sales metrics, it is currently the fastest selling console on the planet. And I'm going to show you the numbers proving that, but it is wild because before the Pro was released, when we just had a couple screenshots and some talks by Mark Cerny, a couple tiny demos of short clips of gameplay, I, on camera, predicted that the Pro would not be a big hit. It wouldn't feel very mainstream, mostly because it felt like an expensive, niche, high-end gaming product. I figured it'd be something like the people that buy the best expensive graphics cards and stuff like that. That is an active community, but it's typically a pretty small base. Whereas the Pro, the place.
I mean, I wouldn't really compare a Pro to a 4090 purely because one will outperform the other tenfold and, you know, actually has a purpose to exist, unlike the Pro.
PlayStation 5 Pro is exploding. And I want to talk about that from a couple different directions, which is the people actually reacting to it, the numbers themselves, and the people that seem to be pissed about the success of the Pro. Let's discuss. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So technically the PlayStation 5 Pro's only been out for like 72 hours. It's not enough to have like full long-term data. We don't know how it's going to perform this holiday, but now, after watching its opening explosion, I got a feeling it's going to kind of dominate the market this Christmas. But what I did kind of find interesting is over the course of the last couple weeks, ever since the Pro initially got revealed, people seem to be so hesitant to fully understand it. I see a lot of people that are.
No, I don't know about you, Chief, but still having 30 FPS on that console that was told to be 60 FPS is kinda shocking, to say the least. Like, you look at a lot of the stuff that you've seen so far at the Pro, and it's kinda underwhelming. It isn't what we would have expected as this constant 60 FPS, 8K machine, of course. It was never gonna hit 8K or 4K, for the most part, natively. Also, I like how they mention here in this tweet, it looks better than native 4K. I don't know about you, chat, but the artifacting must look amazing just to get that stable 4K.
Are kind of openly hating it. In fact, any tweet, anybody that says anything positive about it, almost all the replies are negative, or people talking about the fact that, yes, there are still some games that still run at 30 FPS, which I got to admit, I would never play a game on 30 FPS mode. Maybe if I'm recording footage for like a review, but yeah, I would never actually play a game like that. But the impressions from people that actually bought it.
See, Dreamcast guy, that's the issue. You don't want to go back to 30 FPS. I absolutely agree. 30 FPS, very smelly. But I will say this. Was it really worth buying this Pro console for barely any difference and basically DLSS with extra steps? I don't really agree with the purchase.
It, saying it feels like another next-gen experience, especially if you have a big, expensive OLED TV. Now, as a person that's been playing the Pro pretty much non-stop since I unboxed it, I did a video reviewing it and stuff, it's pretty dang impressive. The actual games that are supported, it's a disappointingly tiny handful. There's like...
How you doing, mate? Yeah, it's Scumcast guy. We're looking at his review of the PS5 Pro. It's kind of crazy. He's gassing it up. It's amazing that he's gassing it up. But yeah, pretty much some of the games on here still run at 30 FPS, even though we've been told that this generation is the generation of 60 FPS, and now that the Pro's the 60 FPS machine, or 120 FPS, and it still isn't. It's disappointing. I don't know if it's underperforming. I did that kind of like as a title to see if people would click on it. I'm sure it kind of is. People are still finding it in stock over here, so...
90 games supported, they say. I'd say about 20 are like actually mind-blowing upgrades. But if that's the 20 games you play, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or Alan Wake 2 or Spider-Man, those games are getting such a substantial boost.
Alan Wake 2?
A lot of these games, especially first-party stuff, look dramatically better. But if you're not playing those, this is definitely not somebody who just plays PlayStation 4 games or little indie stuff. This is a device that is definitely not for you. And so when I initially saw it being advertised, I thought, okay, some people will enjoy this. Well, apparently, everybody's enjoying this. The opening pre-order numbers...
Also been playing Death Stranding since launch on Xbox 3 days ago. Just like we were told, only PS5 SSD could handle Ratchet and Clank. And told, yeah, it's... I'm not a big fan of Death Stranding. I don't like Kojima's work. Personally, I think the only games that I could play are as Metal Gear games, especially the older ones that feel less like movies. But I haven't played any of the new ones. I played a little bit of Phantom Pain. But I'm not a big fan of anything like Death Stranding. It just seems like a giant walking simulator game. I know, L take on my part, but... preferably... maybe I'll give it a try. It's been on PC for some time. I could give it a try, but it's not one of those games that I take an absolute interest in. But I'm sure since you guys are playing it, I'm sure you can convey the message that it's a good game or whatever else. I'm sure there's something. Damn right it isn't for everyone, just like how all my garbage games isn't for everyone, see? People enjoy different things. You understand that.
Apparently are stronger than the PlayStation 4 Pro did during the same period.
There we go.
Now, everybody is kind of freaking out about this because this is $200 more expensive than the PlayStation 5, right? This is a $700 console versus a $500 console. But
yeah, that's kind of scary. If this thing is selling well, right? Which, honestly, I hope it isn't. We shouldn't be supporting bad practices. I would hope that. I would say that it doesn't sell well. We shouldn't let Sony charge that price for a console that's barely that much of an upgrade, and it's just further bottlenecked. You're not even getting better performance for the most part. And that is the issue that I think a lot of us have, that the price to performance isn't really worth it. And I would really hope that this sets a good example of, let's not buy something that is necessary at all. Let's just not waste our money. Stick with the PS5. That's what you should be doing. But sadly, if it is selling well, I'm not looking too hopeful for the future of console pricing, which I have a sneaking suspicion the PS6 and the next Xbox, if they continue making actual consoles instead of a handheld, will be $700 as a standard, which it's kind of scary. Stranding has a very odd gameplay loop. I just see it as Mailman Simulator, that's really all I see it. Can't wait for Stalker 2, absolutely agree. I've been really interested in that game more recently now that it's gone gold. It looks like a Stalker game that I would want to play. I played the original ones, not too much, I've played like 1 or 2 times through all of them. But I'm looking forward to see how it goes. They look very fun. Very fun, my bad. Stalker 2 looks fun. I kind of lost my words there. 2 weeks is a long wait. I absolutely agree, especially after all the delays we've had on Stalker 2. I genuinely can't wait. I want to play it on PC. I'm not going to touch console for that stuff. I don't know. I don't think the game will run well on console. It doesn't give off that feeling.
Compare that to what they even had with the PlayStation 4 Pro. By the time the Pro came out, there had been multiple price cuts to the PlayStation 4 at that point. So I think this is showing something very substantial, which is that the behavior of gamers is starting to shift.
Down here you go.
I think this is showing
noise.
a clear sign of, I feel like console gamers specifically are becoming more graphics driven.
I feel like they have, well, if you're purchasing this stuff, I feel like you have lower standards because you're getting less. You're not getting I think you're getting a vertical stand. Apparently that might be true now, that you are getting a vertical stand to set it up by itself. You may not need one of those vertical stands. But missing a disk drive is a pretty big thing to charge $200 for, right? You have less features available to you compared to the last Pro Edition. And I wouldn't really say, still, that, like, even with all, like, the better graphics and all that, it's just not worth the money. Why would you sit there and waste all that money, all that time, when Sony could have just fixed the bottleneck with, like, a better CPU to the GPU that was already in there, and they would have had a far better experience. But of course, it may come down to an issue of, well, they've now just changed up the better part of what is performing and what isn't now, and now there's going to have to spend more time optimizing. It's a bit complicated, but I think it could be done and fixed.
They've been looking over the fence at PC gaming now for decades and saying, wow, they're able to get uncapped frame rates and 4K.
Aztec Warrior, welcome back. Yeah, Dreamcast guy's got this champ. We all know what he's like. Fuck, I'm a bit tired after going to the gym, bro.
Widescreen support that console just doesn't have. And so now, with the
Wait, a console doesn't have widescreen support? No way. No way. That's crazy. Wait, he isn't? Nah, that isn't true. They must have widescreen support.
They're able
Give me
to
a
get
second.
Uncapped frame rates and 4K visuals, and they have crazy wraparound monitors and widescreen support that console just doesn't have. And so now, with the start of the PlayStation 5 having this opening batch of games with some graphical options, even if they're not that deep and deluxe, I think people are starting to go, okay, now I get it. Now I understand the appeal of buying that new piece of tech, even for a tiny graphical boost.
But I wouldn't really justify buying a PS5 Pro for that small graphical boost. Like, I feel like they could have only charged, like, an extra $50, right, and decreased the price of the PS5 Pro if they just did, like, a CPU upgrade. That is it. You would have fixed the bottleneck, or made the bottleneck even, I wouldn't say, how would you want to word it, bigger or smaller? If they just fixed that, you would have squeezed out a lot more performance than what you're getting now. You may have actually been able to get, I wouldn't say 4K, but like 2K is a standard. Might not look as good as 4K, but, you know, you're still getting a much better experience than what you have now. Most people don't play on monitors on console, so I don't think widescreen is supported. That's crazy. Like, I switched to monitor sometime before I got my PC, right? And I just couldn't go back, because I didn't need such a big TV to look all around and see stuff. I enjoyed being relatively close up to the screen, so maybe that's just my experience. I would prefer to have a smaller screen. But I don't know. Some people, it's like, some people prefer big stuff, some people prefer small stuff, you know. Really depends on what you're looking at and what you're looking for.
The fact that people are lining up for it at a console that's practically double the price, as some people said, if you bought a $400 PlayStation 5 normal, which, like, just a normal digital PlayStation 5 digital edition, getting this being $700, it is nearly double the price. But I guess that's not a deal breaker. These are the numbers. I saw this going around this morning, and it is insane. The PlayStation 5 Pro is the #1 best-selling console on Amazon in multiple countries. The US,
It's kind of crazy. I mean, oh, well, it's on Amazon, but there's still, like, places you can go physically here in Australia, and you can still find them on, like, the shelf. I went to the shop recently, and I saw it there on the shelf. It was pretty cool. Wouldn't buy it, though, because, guess what? It turns out that its standard price is $1,200. And if you want to get the accessories for it, it's $1,300 and something now. I'm sorry, champ, but I ain't getting a PS5 Pro. No way. And I'm honestly shocked, right, that in Brazil it's selling that much. That place, its currency, rough. Australia, I would equally say, is rough. Japan, it's rough. It's like, I wouldn't want to put down the money for something like that when I could probably just get a PC. You could probably haggle the price, maybe, or if you have any membership benefits, you may be able to get the price down to something more reasonable. Probably not. You might be able to shave off 100, but it's crazy that I wouldn't say it's something that I would need some thinking before I even bothered purchasing something like this. It's a very expensive console. I wouldn't want to put the money down straight away. Wait, what? It's 1,410 AUD with the stand and drive, bro. That's crazy. No shot. Nah, that's crazy. You have to be lying. You're lying. No. I thought it would be like 1,300 for everything. No way that it's actually 1,000. You have to be bullshitting. Where'd you find this price? I want to know where you're looking at. Even I saw it only for like 1,200. I don't know how to feel about that, champ. You have to be pulling my leg. You have to be talking it up like it's even more expensive than it is. I don't believe that for a second. Actually, what are you checking, like, at physical retailers or stores? $160 for a disk drive. Nah, that's crazy. Ooh, I didn't check the disk drive while I was there. I should say that. I didn't check it. And $50 for a fucking plastic vertical stand. Ooh. Was this at EB or at JB Hi-Fi? I want to know that now. I'll show it on stream. EB Games. I'm a fellow Aussie. Yeah, we'll take a look in a second. I'll show you. We'll finish up this video, then we'll go take a look.
Spain, Brazil, Australia.
Give me a second. I'll sort of read through all the stuff quickly.
Now, a lot of these are huge markets. It's not like it's just some teeny tiny nation, Malta or something like that. These are the major players in the gaming industry. UK, US, Japan, Germany.
You got a Quest headset? Peak. One of the things that I noticed about PlayStation Fanboys said the mainly / only use UK numbers. Yeah, I feel like I don't know if this is I don't know how I would put it, but I feel like the UK is the only place that really talks about numbers when it comes to everything, whether or not that's the people, their places, or the actual companies themselves. It would I don't really pay attention to numbers. It's not something that I really care about. I don't have any stock in these companies. I mean, yeah, I could talk about it for a video, but I don't have any investment in this. It gives me no satisfaction to brag about this stuff. Like, yeah, if the product is good, I'll brag about it, right? Because, you know, I want more people to get a good product. I'm all for it. Has there been any ponies screaming and chatting about their fans about Death Stranding? I That's actually a good question. I have not seen any fanboys really talk about it because my entire Twitter feed is filled with politics now. Mainly fanboys are not really switching topics, but they're mainly focused on Trump winning the election in America. That's pretty much what's been going on completely, and I'm still getting that stuff. Now we're slowly getting fanboy stuff back, but for the most part, I wouldn't say it's been a quiet week. It's just more people are focusing on politics, and that's taking up everyone's feed, probably because it's being pushed. So, yeah. It's... I mean, I want to cover... If I can find the Reforged clips, we can go cover him talking about how Elden Ring sucks, and I just wanted to laugh at that as a Souls player myself. And that some PlayStation owners are selling, or were selling, their PS5 to GameStop, and completely forgetting to remove their upgraded storage. Ooh. Ooh. Uh-oh. Ooh. Ooh, that's not good, champ. I wouldn't want to switch out that SSD. I mean, what? It's a standard SSD, isn't it, that they put into the console? Then you can change your storage and how much is in that SSD. So, I mean, that's fucking rough. If you lost that, that's a lot of storage going. Whoever gets that refurbished, bro, they're in for a good time with that extra SSD storage. Like, oh yeah, marketers having that? Nah, you're gonna get like an extra terabyte on top of that. Absolute steal. I did see a clip on Twitter of some MBG coping about Death Stranding. We will be covering MBG clips a little bit later. I have a couple of them, but I think that's mainly him talking about the PS5 Pro. But if I find those clips, I'll react to them as well.
Germany, France.
I will say I did come a little bit unprepared today because I just got home from the gym and that I was also locked out of the house for a bit, so I didn't have enough time to prepare, but we got everything there at the end, right? We still got stuff to react to, so my bad again. Also haven't finished editing certain stuff for the stream, so we'll get that stuff maybe done next week. Time's very, 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 very slim. I don't have much time to do much stuff now, you know. Oh well. My excuses.
This stuff are huge chunks of the industry. The fact that these people are lining up and buying such a pricey console day one, it's baffling, and I almost feel like this is kind of the sign.
I feel sorry for them personally. I wouldn't want to pay for this, not at the price that it is. It's way too expensive in certain places.
About how a lot of us are getting stuck in gaming echo chambers just by accident. I've been spending a lot of time over here on the PlayStation 5 subreddit. I actually think this subreddit is good.
Reddit.
A lot of these people, they're clearly PlayStation fans. Like, why else would you be subscribed to this Reddit? But I think their takes a lot of times are just trying to get the best out of PlayStation. They want the best games, the best frame rate, the best prices. And because of it, I feel like a lot of the people that post in here, I really like their takes. But the PlayStation Reddit, I feel like the PS5 Reddit has been very anti-pro. A lot of them have been
Good, they should be. It's not a console that respects their money or their time necessarily. It's not really something that sits there and gives you that appreciation for what you've invested your money into. So I don't blame people for being mad at it or looking at it in a very negative light, which is true. You shouldn't support this. Like, yeah, if it was cheaper, I would be all for supporting the Pro, right? You know, it's a Pro model. But $700 US for a console? Nah. No way. Does Amazon even sell most consoles to begin with? I think they do. I think you can buy most consoles on it. Well, most consoles that are still being, you know, produced and distributed to this day, you're still going to get consoles for. I should specify that, just in case someone's, like, expecting to buy, like, a fucking DS through there. Go to eBay or stuff for that, you know, if it's cheap.
In the same headspace I've been in, which is that it's not that it's a bad console, it's that an extremely expensive console like that is not exactly accessible to a lot of gamers, or so we thought. In fact, look at the top comment here. The subreddit ain't gonna like this. It's mostly people who don't frequent this sub. They just catch wind of positive news, and that's when they decide to comment negatively. I've been pretty happy so far. This is the biggest thing. I swear, every person that bought the Pro, it instantly wins you over. Every person, especially if they're...
It wins you over. I'm not sure if this is, I think it's Final Fantasy 16, but when I think they've done a mode for it, I could be wrong. I didn't check, nor do I really care, but when I saw gameplay of it, it was stuttering. Like, yeah, it looked good, but it wasn't performing good. You were having constant stutters while moving around in a heavy population area, right? So I wouldn't say, like, maybe that's just in an instance, but that still does not look good, especially if you're just taking that out of context. It's not good, champ. I beg for any poor man that runs around in those cities expecting to get good performance, right? It's... stuttering, it really takes you out of the experience. I get all my PS5 misinformation from Cream Ask. Hell yeah, that's a peak name. I wouldn't take what he's saying too seriously right now. Like, yeah, he's in a bit of an echo chamber himself, but then again, he benefits from positive and negative news of each of these consoles, so you just look at it on what you will. We'll keep going.
FF7 Rebirth. I was actually showing that to my girlfriend last night. I was showing her, because she and I play a lot of card games, so I was showing her Queen's Blood and FF7 and a lot of the cool mini games and stuff like that. The frame rate, the visuals, that game runs so insanely crisp in 4K at really good frame rates and stuff. I feel like the Pro is one of those systems that when you...
I think he said Final Fantasy 17. 7, Jesus Christ, bro. If he said that, I don't know how that's performing, but I know at least in 16, like I said, it's stuttering and has a couple of performance issues there, but I'm sure that will get patched out. But then again, that shouldn't be there day one either.
You see it, it instantly makes you go, oh, that's not something that's easily conveyed through YouTube videos with compression, and I think they show a lot of numbers that a huge...
Like I said to the guy in one of my community posts, if you want to actually fix any compression issues, I mean, it still has issues, but you just need to export your video in VP9. And then that usually fixes the issue, as it leads to less artifacting. Little pro tip for any content creators here.
Chunk of
if your editing software supports it
on their phone, you cannot understand the Pro difference if you're looking at it on a tiny phone, right? So my point is the fact that it's interesting watching the subreddit go from ultra negative to pretty dang positive in such a quick fashion because they bought it and played it with an open mind. I also saw a bunch of stuff like this. PlayStation 5 Pros.
Yeah, this is the guy, bro. I'm sorry. I saw that clip on Twitter and I was like, nah, 500, nah. She's paying full price for a console that she could have got for like 300, bro. That's rough. Like, don't get me wrong, right? You know, you should make a bit of money back from that, but don't. Why would you charge full price for your significant other, bro? I wouldn't. I don't know what type of monster would do that, but I can assure you it wouldn't be me. But it's such a Dreamcast guy thing to do, and I wouldn't have shared that with anyone. Why would you share that, honestly? I want to know what went through his mind of like, yeah, I'm going to share that with people because that's an important piece of information. You could have just said that you sold it to your girlfriend and didn't mention the price, and you're like, 500? Nah, that's crazy. Why? Talk about scamming someone you like, bro. Hope to God she never sees that video because she's not going to be too happy with you.
The PS5 Pro price has not had a negative impact on sales, says...
You missed the fact that I mean, then again, I wouldn't really charge 500 for that. I forgot to mention that as well, yeah. He did chuck a couple games, 2 controllers, like, yeah, that sounds good on paper, but I still wouldn't. I would still give that to her for cheap because, you know, that's your significant other. You want to look good, you want to give her a deal, you want to know that, you know, you're a rich man, you know, meth cast guy want to show his good time. But sadly not. I don't... Nah, I can't justify that in my head. Just think to myself, like, yeah, that's a smart way to think. 500, definitely not. 300, yes. With all those controllers and games, yes. Very good. Give her a good deal, like the fine gentleman you are. Bet his old PS5 probably been cool. Yes, I wouldn't say no. He probably would have seen some action. You know, Methcast guy would have done stuff to it.
Sony boss. Well, yeah, Reddit is a bubble. Everyone on the site said the PlayStation 5 Portal would be dead on arrival, and now Sony says it's their best-selling accessory. Speaking the truth, I'm on a number of forums and all the platforms that...
I'm gonna be entirely honest. I mean, like, I can't see or justify much for a streaming device, but if it was like a proper handheld, I would have thought that was very cool. I need to chuck that in here as well. A streaming device? It doesn't work in Australia. I know For any of us Australians in here, you would know that that wouldn't work. Like, going from point A to B in here in Australia, you don't get internet in some places. Like, I barely even get 150 megabytes of download speed. They may sound like a lot for some people, but that's because I'm in a slightly developed area. If you go to the outback or something, you won't find shit. Or if you even go a little bit outside of town, you won't get anything. He gave her a PS5. Methcast edition. Yeah, he's got like custom plates on it and everything. Spends a lot of time on Pornhub. Oh yeah. You wouldn't? I don't know about you, champ. That's a free website. You don't have to pay for it, unlike OnlyFans, and whoever pays for OnlyFans is a disgusting individual. Burn them.
That people are pulling the trigger, looking forward to their Pro arriving. Reddit is a PC-focused platform. So, this is something I feel like I've been thinking about more and more, which is just kind of how algorithmically focused all social media is now. Twitter.
I saw another pony on Twitter defending him with at least he has a girlfriend. My brother in Christ. At least he has a girlfriend that can rip off. Like, come on. You know, if you just socialize a bit, champ, anyone can pick up a lady. It's not that hard. You just gotta be interesting. You gotta be silly. You gotta have a bit of a good time. Yeah, try to use a PS5 Pro on the bus. Yes, taking the bus. You know, where all the essays go. I know what you are now, champ. You're an essay, aren't you? I knew it. No, but I don't get how someone can be like, oh, at least he has a girlfriend, though. That isn't a flex. Just talk to women. It's not that hard.
Twitter, YouTube, anywhere you go, right? The point of these apps is to keep you on the app, to keep you engaged, to keep you enraged, to keep you watching, to keep you into it, right? And I think sometimes it locks you into a corner where it's difficult to understand what's actually going on, right? It warps your perceptions a bit. And I do feel like even with gaming that happens, right?
I thought Sony guys loved paying full price for things, 'cause they ain't broke like everyone else, right? Huh. And then when a guy is giving away a free PlayStation in New York, they lose their damn minds. I know, it's what do you mean? Yeah, I don't know what you're at here, bro. Like, can't you tell how high class they are? That was a very what was it? Kaisen that didn't he? That's crazy that he would thought that was a good idea. Like, would you? I don't know why people were going apeshit for a singular PS5. Like, you know, if he chucked it like a couple $1,000 PC, you know, I'd understand the rage. You know, that's a top of the line PC, but a PS5 Pro, oh no, because they were probably out of stock, weren't they? Onyx, where's your partner that you can scam 500 out of? Other side of the house, champ. Nah, not here right now. At work. I know, she's the breadwinner, am I right, boys? Nah, I'm fucking got beekeeping to do later. That's gonna be fun. We're gonna keep them hostage. Hey, my hand does count. That's the other one that I've been seeing, bro. You better wait. Both of my hands are hard workers. Don't be like that. Fucking show you what my hands can do, bro.
Like, I love talking about PlayStation. I love PlayStation first-party games. I play a lot of stuff on my PlayStation. And so because of it, almost
don't
all
lie
of
to
my
me, you're
searches
definitely
are
an essay.
Platinum trophy guides.
But you were robbed by
me trying
one.
to figure
Hell
out
yeah.
how to unlock a puzzle. Me checking the release date specifically of a game coming up on PS5 so I can, you know, review it and stuff like that. I almost think that it makes it where we're getting into this accidental spot where if you're trying to investigate a console,
that was kind of at the pandemic. It was such a weird thing to do. I wouldn't. I mean, then again, he's much popular than he is now.
PlayStation 5 Pro price.
I wouldn't say that was a good idea.
Searching it, and there's 50 videos in a row in your feed. Your whole feed is filled with people saying nobody's gonna buy it. This thing's gonna flop. It makes it so you think, oh man, this thing's dead on arrival. And then by watching those videos, it keeps feeding you that content specifically. So anytime you even go to other websites and try and check about the success of the Pro or what people are thinking about the Pro, you're still being algorithmically fed that negative takes about it. And so whenever you step outside that bubble and see the real world numbers,
he got that Popeye forearm on his right arm. Hell yeah.
I think there is a bit of a shock where you start to go, holy heck, like, actually...
One thing I would like to know is that, has anyone here bought the Pro, or can anyone explain to me why you bought the Pro? Like, I'm just curious to see your point of view on what made you want to purchase the Pro, and have you gotten what you would see as worth out of that for a $700 console? I'm kind of curious if anyone here has done that. I know there's only 15 of you, but I'm sure you can offer some insight. Dreamcast guy is peak hope, and we all love it for him. I don't know. Does anyone here got the Pro or anything? Would like to share your opinion with us. I would be very curious to hear what you have to say. You know, I'm gonna do a reforge and call you out for having a different opinion, okay? So don't you worry, we'll call you out.
Wait, the Pro is a huge hit. Actually, wait, PlayStation gamers do care about having those up-end graphics, even if it is expensive. Oh, I guess console gamers are extremely happy to have those high-end PC specs in some compatible fashion.
You don't have high-end PC specs. Your games are getting upscaled through fucking a budget version of DLSS or FS. Actually, no, it's based off of FSR, so I wouldn't say, like, if it was native 4K, hell yeah. But the problem is that most of your games are natively running at 1440p being upscaled. This isn't true 4K, and it's not going to look as good as true 4K. But when that time comes, and when it happens, when you get that true 4K, you'll realize how mid PSSR is. And trust me, this goes for any PC guy that owns a PC, you don't usually want to use DLSS. It's kind of sucky. It can be good if you're playing an FPS game, but for graphics, nah, just turn it off.
It's very fascinating to see how this entire industry...
And if you want to make a game look better, just use reshade. You can change the contrast, the sharpness of images, and all that. It'll save you so much time.
...of gaming has sort of evolved in a way that I don't think anybody saw, but also just the way we discuss games has changed so much. I don't know, just a time for reflection. I'm happy to take the L. I legitimately 100% thought the PlayStation 5 Pro was going to, I mean, not completely flop, but I did not expect it to be a hit.
I mean, the reviews were kind of underwhelming for it. I wouldn't say it's a flop. I'm sure it's probably going to be successful. People want it, right? You know, eat what you have. But I wouldn't say it's going to be this big success, especially for its pricing, especially, like, they need to put down the price of the normal PS5 and that as well. They shouldn't be charging that much. It's a disgusting price for something that isn't worth it. Especially when you could just buy your way into the PC platform with a kind of lower to mid-end PC, and then build yourself up over time through discounts or whatever. Nope, the normal PS5 isn't worth. It would depend. I feel like, well, since it's the most popular console, I feel like there is a reason for it to exist. Yeah, it may not have any exclusives, but it's where all the communities are and all the people are, so if you're not looking to do crossplay, you can always just jump on the PS5. So maybe if you look at it 50-50, but it has its pros and cons. I'm not a user of that platform, I never will be, so I can't tell you what its strengths are. But mainly, if you want to play games, just play wherever you want. I don't want to give up on my cabinet full of virginity. Hell yeah, all those disc games that are out of stock. Yeah, winning. You know exactly what it is. I was going to do an Oh No Italics and build up a giant collection of discs, but then I realized I've just got a couple hard drives on me. I'll just put my emulator and all my ISOs on there. Problem solved. Speaking of which, did you hear about how Marvel rival devs have been arrested for money laundering, or laundering money? Ooh, boy. Interesting development. I did not hear about that. I didn't really pay too much attention to the game, but I guess we're learning something new now. I'll have to go look into that later, because that does seem kind of a bit far-fetched. Unless you want to drop the link. I think you can drop that.
Hit. You know, obviously, it's early days. We'll see how it actually shakes out, but I thought the PlayStation 5 Pro, it just...
What's funny is Death Stranding was on sale for 14 days for $19.99, and I brought it. Hell yeah. It's kind of cool that they dropped it on the console and they immediately put it on discount. That's actually pretty nice that they did that.
Seemed like such an exuberant, tiny collector's item. I never thought it would have any sort of mainstream appeal. So it's interesting not only to be wrong, but to get outside my bubble and realize, oh, I think console gamers care a lot about what everybody cares about at this point, having the best gaming experience anywhere. But these have just been
Anywhere. Just go on PC. Anywhere. Anywhere. PC. 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 I mean, you can huddle your PC around. You can take it from place to place if you're willing to hide it somewhere. You know, someone might jump it from you if it weighs not that much, but I mean, yeah. But no, you're not gonna get like a better experience in PCs, champ. Even mid-range PCs are outperforming the PS5 and its Pro probably. So I wouldn't necessarily say that you're gonna get the best experience. Like, yeah, you're gonna get a better experience, but you're not gonna get that PC experience. You can't mod, you can't make the game, you can't change all the settings to better perform to your systems, champ. As much as you might want. You brought an Xbox simply because of backwards compatibility for like 360 games? Yeah, fair enough. I do appreciate that Xbox went out of their way to do backwards compatibility. I do hope Sony actually invests a little bit more into it, because I do think a lot of people want to play their older games. A lot of people enjoy the older games. But then again, it's really up to you what you're getting these consoles for, so if you're getting it for backwards compatibility, I'm sure you're going to have a good time. Because, you know, I think you can actually play MechAssault on the consoles, can't you? Because now they're backwards compatible. Nah, maybe not actually, because they might have copyrighted me. Oh no, the IP. No, they'd have to reach out to the developers to do that, wouldn't they? Because I hope they do bring back more backwards compatibility. Oh my god. If they do that, it'll be really cool. I think that would be very great that they went out of their way to do it. Older games are just so much more fun than some of the newer stuff you'll find.
And some off-the-cuff thoughts. How do you guys feel about the PlayStation 5 Pro? Did you get a PlayStation 5 Pro? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming.
Damn right, I'm going to keep on dreaming, champ. It's a deluxe article. Fair enough. About Marvel Rivals. You can't link? I swear. Oh no, maybe only moderators can post links. Well, I guess we're learning something new here today. I guess I'll take that in for a note later. Need to start getting mods for the channel anyway. Well, I guess we'll move on to the next video. Actually, no, first, I'll go quickly switch over and go check that EB shit so we can go check out some stuff quickly. Give me a second. I'll go take a look to check out EB Games, and we'll go check out the price, and I can show you it in Australia. EB Games. PS5 Pro. PS5 Pro. Okay, so we got some Pro models. We'll walk you through it quickly. Okay, here you go, here you go. So the normal PS5 Pro. So you have it here, right? You got the PS5 Pro. One per customer. Okay, so they've got, you know, stuff like that. Orders. Vertical stand not included. But where's the price? 1,199. So 1,200. And do they have the accessories listed under here? I don't think they do. Where would the accessories tab be? Check JB. Doesn't show the disk drive. Interesting. But yeah, there you go. Look how expensive that is, bro. And then we'll see. Do they have the PS5? PS5. We'll quickly check just to make sure. PS5. Oops, I spelled Pro wrong. Pro disc. Anything here? No, just other accessories. Give me a second. We'll switch over to another website. I'll tell you now. You can't download Fear 1 off of the Xbox store. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because there's certain games that only allow you to have what is it? The disc before you can actually play it. They don't actually sell it digitally. That's rough. JB Hi-Fi. We'll quickly check it here. We'll check the prices. No, I don't want you to use my location. Very scary. PS5 Pro. Oh my god. Oh my god. You're right. Oh my god. Oh my god. The vertical stand's $49. The PS5 Pro is the same price. You have the... I'm not sure if that's the right one, because that's a slim version, is it? So I'm not sure if that's compatible. But look at that. $159 plus $5 to $6 for delivery. I want you to think about that. That's a disk drive. A fucking disk drive. A disk drive. That shouldn't even cost that much. That should cost like $30. But it's $159 alongside a $49 piece of fucking plastic. And I think they are compatible, right, for the Pro and all that. Can tells me a mod. I don't know who you are. I can't just hand you a mod. You gotta pay for it. No, I'm joking. I don't know. It depends if you're in chat for long enough. I'll chuck you a mod. I need to chuck Josh. If he's ever in chat, I'll give it to him. Because, you know, he mods for Alex. I'm sure he's a good boy here. Also, look at that My Little Pony, bro. I need that game. Hell yeah. But that's crazy. You weren't lying. It is like 1,400 nearly. Or just about it. That's crazy. It's out of stock as well. And people are buying it at that price? That's crazy. No way. Shoo. Get away, advertisement. Nah, that's not real. Nah, that's fucked. I can't believe people are paying that much for a disk drive. Like, that has to be it's definitely, like, the most shittiest pricing I've ever seen. So, 1,000... roughly, is it actually? So, let's see. We have, 1,200. We have 1,359. So, yeah, roughly 1,412. I think I did the math right, hopefully. That's crazy. Yeah, the stand should be like $2 to $10. Like, look at that. It's just plastic. Or metal even. It might just be like a really shiny little piece of plastic. Why is it $49? Why does it have good reviews? It's a fucking stand. And then you turn around and you see $160. Oh, it hurts me brain. Ooh. And people are actually buying this. No way. That's messed up. There are so many things you could spend your money on, like an actual gaming PC. But you spend your money on this. Anyway, I guess we'll stop crying. We'll go back on to we'll go on to my next favorite man, Herman Smith, my boyfriend.
One of the interesting things about the Switch
Get down there, mouse.
The thing that has been kind of low-key for the most part is that we've finally reached the point where...
$700 dust collector, maybe. Also, the video it needs context, so yeah, he wants to say that new Nintendo games are better than the old ones. I'm sure a lot of you that use the Nintendo platform would very much disagree.
The general Nintendo audience is perfectly willing to acknowledge that new Nintendo games are better than the old ones. This has been, like, most apparent...
That's cap. I'm sorry. That goes for any generation. Especially with newer generations becoming more corporatized with their games. It's... Older games were not as willing to be as safe as what they are now. There were a lot of experiences that you can't just really get in modern games. He'd be drinking water. Damn right he will be, mate. He loves his water. Last time, I think he was drinking a form of soda. He was drinking Coke or something. It was crazy. But I don't get it. I mean, this is obviously just Harmon baiting people again, but, you know, free bait for us.
Like
Give it to me.
IP, but it's also true for a wide range of other franchises, even when people are in denial about it, right? You know, Fire Emblem, Metroid, you know, there are, like, a lot of examples.
I'm going to be entirely honest. I hope you know pausing right there and thinking for a second didn't really add anything to your argument, purely because that makes you look stupid now, because you only named like 3 or 4, then you paused for a second. This is why you do a bit of editing. It really saves you a bit of time and doesn't make you look as stupid as you normally would, even when I say stupid shit and get in trouble for it.
Of, like, these lower tier, like, Nintendo franchises that have just exceeded all expectations and far surpassed the original
Yeah, the
releases.
master betas are
There
everywhere,
are
bro. Better
occasional
watch out.
letdowns like Pikmin 4 that don't live up to the original releases, but for the most part, a lot of these established Nintendo IPs are constantly improving upon themselves. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, as I've said several times already, is far better than Mario 3.
Eyes to the skies, boys. I'm coming in.
Fucking hate ads, bro. Get away. Hey, look, Fratanga uploaded a video on his second channel. We'll have to look at that eventually. Anyway, sorry about that. Stupid ad, stinky ad.
That Super Mario Bros. 3 is so great that it can't possibly be topped, and it's one of the best games ever made.
See, I would comment on this, but I have never played any of these games, and this is where I have to rely on my audience, because I've never played many Nintendo games. I've played, I think, one Zelda that one time, but that was it. So I can't really tell you if what he's saying is true as a Nintendo fan, but I don't know. My instant stance is that most older games are way better, purely because they just are. They have a lot of experiences that you will never find in a lot of these modern games because they're all sanitized, and I'm not willing to offend anyone or tell a unique story that's really out there.
That is not true, right? I've been very adamant about this, going back and playing Mario 3 as much as I have.
Actually, I think the only one that I will comment on is I probably think the older Zeldas are a little bit more interesting. I don't know, I kind of like the old art style of a lot of these old games, but, that's more of just a thing of its time, not really something that can be held, I don't know. It really depends on what you prefer. Do you like open world or not?
I've come to realize that game is nowhere near the level of quality that people make it out to be. Yes, it's a good game. People love it, right? It's an iconic release, but the reason people love it so much is that it was a technologically demanding marvel at the time, right? People love Mario 3 because of its nostalgia, not because it's a particularly well-made 2D platformer.
What do you mean? I don't believe that for a second. Screw sex, I bought a Razer Xbox controller from it, and they had a complete left stick drift. Oof, rough. Stick drift is amazing, isn't it? I keep getting their advertisements and how they want to buy up your old stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested, champ. Go away. I should switch to a browser like Brave or something so I can get the ad blockers, but I don't know if I'll get in trouble. Because YouTube doesn't like it, and you get a strike on your channel if you use ad blockers now. Especially if you're a content creator, so it kind of affects you pretty hard.
In a lot of ways, Mario World surpassed it, Yoshi's Island surpassed it, Mario Wonder surpassed it, right? Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, the original Donkey Kong Country games, right? There are so many, examples of titles that, built off of and improved off of the Mario 3 formula. Not that Mario 3 isn't great.
Well, yeah, Mario 3 had to exist to make those games even better than it is, right? If people like this game, they clearly have a reason. Is it because of the certain features you have in that game? I still like playing Halo 2 over most other Halo games because it's not as cool. It doesn't have all the cool features, all the silly ragdolls, all the cool weapons. Except Halo 5. Halo 5 had a shit ton of weapons. But there's a certain feel of these old games when you play them. You get a certain experience that you can't get anywhere else. Maybe the movement feels a lot better. Halo 2, peak movement. Gunplay, absolutely peak for its time. Halo Combat Evolve, gunplay is still peak. Movement, even better. I mean, going from Fallout 3 to Dark Ato, and then, sell children into slavery. Yes, please. You know exactly what needs to be done. That child didn't stand a chance. Wait, no, you can do that in Fallout 4 as well, but then again, it's not really much of a choice. It's either you kill the guy or you just let the kid exist. Yeah, going into Dragon Age Veil God, where Thieves Guild doesn't even steal stuff. That's crazy. Nah, that can't be true. That Thieves Guild doesn't steal stuff. Nah, what type of role playing is that? Bro, I hope to God Dragon Age is just a complete flop. I hope it didn't make any money. I think someone said it made 500k, but that's barely anything. Oh no, 500k copies sold. Ooh, if that game succeeds, I'm going to be disappointed because it's going to set a very bad example of what future games are going to be like. But then again, let's hope they don't get to make a new Mass Effect game. We can leave it at Andromeda.
but this idea that people have had that like who the 2D platformer peaked with Mario 3 is completely and utterly false, right? Mario Land has value. Like Mario Land 2 has value. New Super Mario Bros. Has value, right? The idea that these games are worthless because, well, Mario 3 is better is completely and utterly disingenuous, right? You know, how dare people play other 2D platformers other than Mario 3?
Well, people can play whatever they want. You just think that the newer ones are better. I mean, yeah, it's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion, but I'm sure most people would agree with you that you're probably wrong. And I'm mainly basing this off the assumption that usually when you talk about games, a lot of people don't really agree with your opinions for the most part. But there are sometimes where people are like, damn, he's actually pretty good at criticizing Nintendo. But he doesn't do that often. Fatty.
But when you look back at the history of Nintendo, when you look at like what happened with Sonic the Hedgehog versus Super Mario World, right? The narrative always had to be that like, well, Mario World isn't as good as Mario 3. It was just a method of downplaying the new thing by comparing it to like the extremely popular, successful original release. So people who don't know anything about these brands, who don't know anything about these games, just blindly go along with it because like, well, the game.
Well, yeah, we would blindly go along with it, right? Purely because a lot of people are saying that either this is what you should think, and if it's coming from multiple people, of course, the opinion is widespread enough to be like, hey, look. But, of course, I don't know many people that play on Nintendo platform. I only know one guy that shares a very similar name to Aztec Warrior in the chat that plays on Nintendo. He's like the only friend that actually plays it. Everyone else just plays on PC, or emulates the games through PC. I'm gassing you up, Aztec Warrior. I hope you know that. There's a lot of people with your name. I have a friend that I speak to on Discord that really loves Monster Hunter that goes by the name Aztec Warrior. I'm not saying you're him, but you could be him. Or are you?
Drodo told me this. Well, no, actually. Like, Sonic the Hedgehog is a really good example as to everything that's wrong with the wider gaming community. Right?
The wider gaming community, it's only fans that would be talking about this. Like, yeah, you can have people parrot it from what other people said, right? But, you know, they would usually preface that, hey, look, this is coming from someone else that may have said it. This wouldn't be an opinion that they would have. So it's obviously a Nintendo fan handing out this opinion, or a fan of that game that's handing out this opinion. So I don't know about you, champ. I wouldn't blame this on the wider gaming audience and say, hell yeah, it's them who said it. No, it's a fan. Or someone that may like the game will just say, who cares? Someone that uses your platform, stinky.
Is nowhere near the level of quality as a Nintendo release. It never has been. But the character sold itself.
Nintendo release.
Like an extremely appealing design, a marketing campaign, and just this image it had of just being like the cooler Mario. And all of that was fake. All of that was astroturfed right from the get-go, right? Sonic was never, ever, ever going to replace Mario as a gaming icon. But a lot of people, a lot of non-gamers, or people who who became interested in games because of the Sega Genesis, right? They
Real Aztec rip people's hearts out as a sacrifice to the gods. Do you do that, champ? I know you'd be doing that. You'd be doing that because you're a cannibal, not an Aztec, wouldn't you, mate? I know that for a fact. I speak from experience.
Got on board with Sonic the Hedgehog and worshipped him as an icon to the point where, like, he's somewhat recognizable even today. You know, long.
Wait, I just realized that. Nah, that's class. What do you mean, having a curtain instead of a door? I mean, you know, it would be cool to have a door, but you never know. There could be a door behind that. Could be a brick wall. Could be locked in there. Could be going insane. I really can't lie to you, bro. It really does look like he's recording in a basement. Like, he's got all the stuff there, like, he's got, like, his thermostat and all that. I think it's a thermostat. I don't know what that is. We don't have basements in Australia, so, you know, very, very, very foreign concept to us. We got attics instead. You know, much cooler than a basement. Doesn't work in Australia. Unless you're living out in the middle of Australia, then it works. Because, you know, they build their houses out of sand.
After his star has passed.
Shopify has been part of Who Gives a Crap since the...
I'm gonna fucking kill myself. myself, bro. I'm sick of these ads. I'm switching browsers in a second, bro. Shoo, go away. Stinky ad. Hey, look, Joe from Seattle uploaded a video. I'll need to go take a look at that as well. Fucking ad, stay away, you shitty little bastard.
People were really interested. People really thought that Sonic could eclipse Mario.
In Minecraft, you do, Aztec. Nah, that's not true.
Than Mario in the 90s. It wasn't true. Like, Nintendo was already expanding past Sonic with, like, spin-off games like Donkey Kong Country, like the WarioWare.
Spin-off games. Everyone does spin-off games, except 343, because 343 doesn't know how to do spin-off games. You know, they did, like, 3 smaller games, like, what was it, Spartan Assault, and whatever that other one was that no one cared about. Actually, no, Halo Wars is a spin-off game, my bad. You know, that's the only good spin-off game they did. But hopefully now they are doing more spin-off games. That Flood survival game we've been demanding for years now. Give it to me. I want it. But I actually hope it's a good game, because, you know, 343 can't make a good game for their lives.
Where Wario Land games, like with Yoshi's Island, and Sonic never really did the same thing, right? Who do you know who, like, has really asked, like, oh, I really want a game about Tails, you know, like, doesn't happen.
I'm sure there's someone out there that would have asked for a game about Tails. I mean, anyone seen the Flash Kids videos about Tails? That shit's funny. That would be a cool spin-off game where he gets killed by space marines. Hell yeah, that'd be a sick game. You know, because they gotta get rid of all the furries. I forgot what the entire story plot of that stuff is. I think it's just they want to kill furries and anything that looks like them. But yeah. They're winning.
But you can see just how Mario became a much stronger brand than Sonic much more quickly, right? You know, 15 years after...
That's because Sega was going downhill. They had to do a lot of things and change up and sell stuff. Somewhat recognizable label. Apparently you get dozens of sequels and spin-offs of comics and TV shows and 3 major movies. Yes, sir. Oh yeah, for Nintendo, absolutely. They got a bunch of stuff. They be doing all the stuff with their IPs. That video?
Super Mario Bros.
There we go.
We got, like, what? Like, Super Smash Bros. Melee, where all the Nintendo characters, like, established their crossover material. You know, even when Melee came out, people were begging for Sonic the Hedgehog to be in it, right? Because people knew, like, even then, even at that point, that 10 years after Sonic the Hedgehog's inception, Sonic's core identity was being the anti-Mario. He doesn't have anything going for him other than that. So
he's fast. That's what he's got going for him. See, I would have actually, you know, offered more criticism to this, but since I never use any of these franchises or IPs, or I've never played them, I can't really offer too much in-depth criticism on this, you know. Absolute sad for me, isn't it? You know, I'm not an old man like Alex that has played pretty much every game known to man. So I can't really offer much criticism, but I don't know, who really cares? Just let people play with both Sonic and Mario for their games. Isn't that new Sonic game on Nintendo as well? I mean, you could get away and play that if you want. And it's on Xbox as well, I think, so... Actually, yeah, it's on PC as well. Yeah, it's everywhere. You can go play it wherever you want. What am I saying? I'm crazy.
What does this mean exactly, right? People like Nintendo games based on their own merits, right? People actually like these titles. While, like, the opposition, the enemy, all they can talk about is how much they're better than Nintendo. Like, every time we see this happen, right? Every time we see one of these, like, you know, no-name, like, video game franchises get some kind of momentum, we always...
Yeah, what's wrong with that? It's competition. Yeah? What's the issue? Competition's good, Harmon. Who cares? If these no-name games are getting credit for something that Nintendo is getting stagnant over, go ahead. Like, that's why they're getting mad at Palworld for succeeding, because, what is it, the new Pokemon games can't do anything good, and they're broken on launch. And even though Palworld isn't really, you know, a Pokemon catching creature simulator, it's a survival game on top of that, right? But, you know, it still has that feature that people are craving, and yet people like it, and now they're getting sued for it. Also, apparently, Nintendo owns the rights to Ryujin, so I thought I'd mention that now while we're talking about Nintendo. I saw that they own the copyright for it. Maybe, just maybe, they'll do something with it. No, they won't. They're only there to shut it down.
See this pattern where, like, oh, it's way better than Zelda, you know, whether it's like Dark Cloud or Okami or Skyrim or Dark Souls or Elden Ring.
Hey. Don't shit on Dark Souls. Leave Skyrim out of this. That game is mid until you mod it. Don't shit talk my boy Dark Souls. He's cute. I like me Dark Souls. I love it. Don't ever, no harm in you fat bastard. Don't ever criticize it again.
Like every single time, like, oh, it's way better than Zelda. From
Depends where you're coming from. I personally, never really played a Zelda game, so I couldn't really confirm that, but I would have to pick Dark Souls since I played that, yeah.
people who don't know anything about the IP, like the way these people talk is that they really seem to think that the Nintendo IPs have like fallen off a long time ago, that they're not relevant anymore, that people don't like them, and that couldn't be further from the truth. And what's more, the commonly held assertion from these people over the past several years, the idea
He's getting water.
that
No, he isn't.
Nintendo peaked in the 90s is being completely and utterly debunked all the time. You know, people are.
I wouldn't say. Do people really say that? I mean, Nintendo's doing incredibly well now. I wouldn't really. Shouldn't have all that power. Down with the system. Yeah. Damn right. It's the most communist shit I've heard towards Nintendo in a long time, Aztec. You know exactly how that works. Down with the system. Down with big government. Get him. But I would say that Nintendo's in a pretty good spot now. Like, yeah, people may not like Nintendo because, you know, they're all a bunch of assholes, but they're still in a good spot. I would say that they're peaking at what they are now. Their Switch is doing incredibly well for the years it is. It's still really popular. They're still doing stuff with it, and the Switch 2 is about to come out soon. I hope. And hopefully it's comparable to the Steam Deck, because I'll probably grab one if it is. I would love one. Maybe. If I don't have to pay for online. That would turn me off. I don't think you have to.
Are not leaning towards A Link to the Past over Breath of the Wild, right? People do not believe Super Metroid is better than Dread. People do not necessarily believe the old Nintendo games are inherently better than the new ones. You know, I grew up with Mario and
I'll be entirely honest. At least when it comes to a lot of the games that I own, a lot of the older games in the franchises, I believe this with mainly COD and Halo, I feel are far better than some of the newer games. If we're going down about individual features of certain games, then yeah, it could change. Like, I could use Gears of War as an example. The movement and mechanics feel a lot more better and more refined, as you would expect from a newer entry in the game. Or franchises, sorry. But when it comes down to the older games, like, either they have a lot more content, a lot more interesting to play, a better story. Like, there are so many times where you can look at older games and be like, that was done better. Because you have the hindsight of being like, oh, I've played these games, I can see what I want, and it didn't give me what I want with this game, but this one did. So it's like a double-edged sword. New games have some benefits that you might like. Old games may have stuff that you like. It really goes both ways. But mainly, the old games always win these days.
Luigi Superstar Saga. You know, I'm super familiar with that game. I know everything about it. You know, playing Brothership for the first time. You know, the new one, 6, right? Mario and Luigi 6. You know, I'm playing Mario and Luigi 6, and I realized that, Brothership is absolutely the best game in the series. And that's just one example, right? There are lots of other examples I can name, games I could name that had a similar kind of trajectory.
True, Nintendo's a bunch of assholes. I don't disagree. They really are just the biggest scum of the earth when it comes to, bro, they can't even take down emulators legally anymore because people, that's not their stuff inside the emulators, right? So I really wonder how they win these legal battles, and yet they always say emulation is illegal. It's like, well, I don't know, you've seen a lot of court cases in the past that prove otherwise, champ, so... Double-edged sword. The difference is no one likes the other side of the sword when Nintendo wins, because they're all a bunch of asses.
You know, Nintendo Switch Sports is one. It's way better than any previous Wii Sports game. You have Metroid Dread, which is better than Super and the entire history of 2D Metroid, right? You have titles like that. You know, you have titles that are just growing in relevancy and are just establishing new standards for the franchises. And when you have that, when you have Nintendo clearly improving their brands.
They're not improving their brand, champ. I'm going to use Pokemon as an example again. That's a great example of just getting stagnant and not doing anything new. Now, that isn't necessarily Nintendo's fault, but it's under their umbrella, so they take part of the blame for it, mainly because the studio was too lazy to do anything or fix it up. So you really have to ask yourself, is Nintendo doing the best that they can? Yeah, look at Tears of the Kingdom as an example. It's not a whole new map. I mean, yeah, it's a good reuse of how to use an old content and refine it and make it a little bit better. And honestly, what was it, system is really fucking cool in the game, so I'm not going to give too much shit to Tears of the Kingdom, but you can see where they may have not really cut corners, but may have just reused stuff to save time. And hopefully they don't do it again, because I'm sure they would want to try out a new world. I'm sure people don't want to play in the same world space again for the third time.
And clearly evolving and clearly doing new things. Like the entire core concept of the anti-Nintendo agenda falls apart because yes, the Nintendo games are getting better, right? They are
No, they're not.
rehashes of things we got in the 90s. And that's especially true for like 2D platformers.
Maybe not in the 90s, but absolutely
right?
recent games.
They are not just the same games over and over again. Like Call of Duty
Bullshit.
Or Grand Theft Auto, right? You know, Nintendo has more creativity.
You know, that's a very terrible example, Harmon. You know, you're saying like, oh, it's not just like, who the fuck would play GTA for something? Who the fuck would want GTA to be something else? It's like saying, who would want a Pokemon game to be like, oh, we don't catch Pokemon in this game? They'll defeat the entire purpose of Pokemon. It's a spin-off game, but, you know, you'll still have to do something with the Pokemon champ. Like, that argument's kinda ass.
And, we're starting to see a slow shift in which the general public is beginning to accept that. The only people you see complaining about Nintendo these days are super religious, just obsessed, like anti-Nintendo shills, right? The people who genuinely believe that Nintendo peaked with like the NES or whatever.
I have no idea who those people are, but yeah, I the only Nintendo fanboy that I know is Harmon Smith, because, you know, he's the only vocal one that really gets out there. I don't really focus too much on Nintendo fanboys, because, you know, the only one in my echo chamber is Harmon. But when it comes to, like, other fanboys for Xbox and PlayStation, yeah, I got a good few of those bad boys lying around. Hopefully, eventually, maybe if the PS5 Pro is as successful as it is. But then again, Death Stranding just released, so maybe there isn't much Xbox Salt going around. I would like to do another Xbox Salt video, because that video actually did pretty well last time. I'm sick of covering PlayStation fanboys, and Harmon. I want to do something new.
Right, those kind of hardcore boomers who just obsessively hate everything Nintendo does, and don't even really play the games, and yet have these, like, really, really hardcore, just opinions about them and the IPs, like, oh, Zelda stopped being good after Zelda 2. Like, I know people who say
yeah,
that.
boomer
man.
opinions right there on God.
Like, oh man, Miyamoto.
Hey, my mouse.
Like,
Stop moving. Why does it keep dragging?
It's just so silly seeing these people like continue their narratives, like they
Always talks about other people, but never shows it. Damn right.
have been for the past 20 years, as if things have not changed. And I do think the Switch era is kind of the moment.
That's really funny, Harmon. Mario for the last 30 years is sure something unique, huh? Always changing. I know, the best thing that they do for changing is probably spin-off games, but, you know, for the original games where he's based in, like, platforming and all that, you know, they don't want to take away from the identity that made him popular, unless those spin-off games get really popular, you know what I mean?
Moment in which the thing that was apparent to me ever since, like, even the GameCube era, like the early GameCube era, the idea that Nintendo makes better games in the competition, that is becoming increasingly mainstream, right? Because Nintendo is the only entertainment company in the world that seems to not be all that much affected by wokeness, right? You know, compare like...
Oh, hell yeah, politics, champ. I'm leaning forward in my chair now. He's got me interested.
And you can see just...
Wait, did you just mention Dragon Age Veilguard? I need to hear that again.
Compare, like, you know, Tears of the Kingdom versus Dragon Age Veilguard, and you can see just a huge gap in quality. In part because of, like, the game design philosophy.
Well, no shit, that's because BioWare isn't the same old BioWare that we used to know. They're not the one from Origins, right? Origins, I've seen shit of that game. I've played a little bit myself, and... yeah, you can really tell that there's a difference. I'm not going to play Veilguard because the game sucks. It looked terrible. It doesn't look anything like Dragon Age. It just feels like a weird skin suit of it.
And, like, the creativity of the developers, but also just a pure understanding of, like, what people find appealing in video games. That can't be censored out by localization or change. Nintendo is just dominating the video game space right now. and there's just nothing.
If they were dominating, I would be playing their games, but sadly I'm not. I'm just sitting here on my fat fucking PC playing my fat fucking games.
Nothing that the gaming establishment can do to convince people otherwise.
Damn, that was the end of his video. Give me a second, we'll just gotta quickly see if I can find that Reforge clip, because I kind of want to cover that. So, give me a second, I'll switch over back to Gay Thunder. You guys stare at this for a bit. Come on, champ, I will find that Reforge clip if it's the last thing I do. What? Oh no, the guy that posted the Reforge clips has now gone private. Oh no. So I can't find the clips that I saved. Oh, that was gonna be good content. I would have made a huge... I should have grabbed those when I had the chance. Fuck. Damn it. Those would have been good clips for a video. Oh well, we'll move on to the, I think we got MBG next. Yes, we do. So, well, just let me finish up here and then we'll go cover MBG for a bit. Our little Guna friend. Yes, beautiful. Okay, now we cover MBG. Here we go. So we got this clip trying to tell people that, this is something that I want to cover about Astro Bot, because, you know, the game looks peak, and I want to support my boy Astro Bot.
So, Steven, you're saying, dude, just loaded up Ghosts. Man, on my monitor, it looks night and day. First test, we'll test more. Good shit, man. You think Astro will have a long tail? I hope it does. I hope it does. Yeah, I still want... I want it to do even better. Carlos, you're saying 1.5 million copies is way too low for PS.
Nintendo is getting into DI money. Yeah, I mean, kinda. I wouldn't say... well, they're more of a Japanese company. I wouldn't say that it'll be their biggest priority, of course, as much as Western games try to focus on it, or try to include it as much as possible. I mean, Asia is kind of falling into it a little bit. Places like China, I don't think ever will, because it's very against them to do that. It really depends on how you look at it with a lot of that stuff. There can be good DI and there can be bad.
PS5 exclusive, that's like 2% of the PS5 user base. I mean, I guess. I think what needs to be understood, though, is that, like, how many copies of, excuse me, of, similar games, you know, similar games that have released on PS5, like 3D platformers. How many copies have they sold on PS5? Like how?
So yeah, this is the issue that I have here, right? Is that it doesn't really matter what anyone else has sold, right? It still only sold 1.5 apparently, and preferably I would like Astro Bot to be even more successful than Nordeus. And from what it looks like, it probably already made its money back from this because, you know, small studio, small budget, so maybe they made stuff for it back. But the issue that I have is that, you know, this game really should be doing a lot more. It should really be popular because, you know, it's a fucking good game. I want to play it. I want it to come to PC so I can play it. And I'm sure it will sell well on PC as well when they need the money for it. So preferably, I do hope the game is successful. I want more Astro Bot. I want more games that prioritize fun instead of cutscenes and graphics. Fun should be first and foremost. Nothing else. If you enjoy to play the game, everything will fall in place.
Big is that audience?
Also, I just realized we have the same stand for our microphone. Give me a second. Yes, we do. It's the exact same cheap-ass one that we have. Hell yeah, and mine makes noises whenever you move it. Really loud as well.
PS5. I mean, I understand what you're getting at, where you're like, because it's a PS5 exclusive, it should sell better, but it's a pretty different type of game than what's...
Whoopsies, muted my mic, but I'm gonna say this right now. For you MBG, people do not buy PlayStation to play the exclusives. They play it because most of their friends either have it, or it's just another popular thing where they get exclusive content for it. Most people play Call of Duty on PlayStation. PlayStation is a very big population for people to play stuff like that. Exclusives are not for everyone's thing, you know? Not everyone wants to play exclusives like God of War. It's very much a secondary form of thing that make your console a little bit better. But sadly, those games aren't exclusive, they're coming to other platforms sooner or later, so make of that what you will, champ.
Sony traditionally releases as as their like, system. I don't know if you want to call it a system seller, but a lot of their exclusives are meant to be like big juggernaut system sellers that really like, whoa, win people over.
You know what I have to ask? For anyone here that plays on PlayStation, did you buy a PlayStation because of the exclusives? I think that's a very interesting question to ask, because at least for me, when I got my Xbox, I just continued to play because it's where all my stuff was. I didn't necessarily think about it as, oh, look, I need to switch to this platform because I want to have access to another game. I mainly did it purely because I didn't want to lose my shit. And I want to know what your opinions are on that. What did you do that for, or did you stay for what I just said, pretty much? Because it seems like that's a pretty universal opinion for everyone. You don't want to lose all your progress on your games.
I mean, I understand that if we're comparing how Astro Bot has sold to like, any some of the big hitter games that Nintendo sells exclusively for their console, I understand that it's like, yeah, they're not comparable. Some of Nintendo's games are doing insane numbers.
Yes, sir.
I don't think Sony would be foolish enough to assume that like your first proper mainline Astro game on console is going to do that. I think this is just the beginning. And I think honestly Sony is willing to.
Damn right, I agree. I hope there is more Astro Bot. And when I get to play it on PC, I hope it has no required PlayStation login, because then I won't be touching the game. You wouldn't catch me touching it with a 10-foot pole. But I will say, if there is more games like it, absolutely bring it. I want more.
I think Sony doesn't really care.
Oh shit, give me a second, Chad. Someone's calling. I gotta go quickly pick up this call. Give me a second. I'll put some music on quickly. Let me just switch over. I'll go set it up quickly. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. Give me a second, Chad. I'm gonna mute myself. Won't be too long, chat. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back, Shaq. Sorry, I just had to finish up that call. My bad. I did buy my PS5 for exclusives. I was hyped for God of War Ragnarok. Fair enough. I mean, that's reasonable. Was that your first PlayStation console, or did you already exist within the ecosystem? Just a curious question. I just want to gauge an idea of, was that one of your big factors, or... But yeah.
Hair, in the case of Astro Bot.
That is a bit
That
loud.
much.
I might need to turn
And
that
when
down. A bit loud. Yeah, I don't get that down there, champ. We'll turn that down to 12. Yeah, that's not as loud as 16, so there
What I
we
mean
go.
by that is, like, I don't think that they put a lot of pressure on this game, man. I think they view it as like a necessary mascot platformer that they want to try to grow in a significant way in the coming years. And as long as it doesn't, like, aggressively...
Well, I wouldn't say that Astro Bot is the main thing, right? Astro Bot was just a small little game that is hopefully successful. It's a smaller game, with a smaller budget, with a smaller team, with a smaller ambition, and an easy little platforming game that looks really fun.
flop, where it's like it only sold 100K units. If it didn't do that, I think Sony really wouldn't care that much. And I imagine, again, I think the fact that they announced the number is all you need to know. Sony doesn't really announce numbers for their games. They announced how many units Astro Bot sold in 2 months. That tells me that
I mean, that's not bad for 2 months for a small game.
But again,
1.5 million.
I would like to see it do more, and I'm sure Sony would as well.
I agree with MBG here, mate. I agree it should do more.
But I want to point this out.
Also, chat, how's the
I just-
music?
I
Is
have
it a
to
bit
do it.
silent or
I
too
just
loud?
gotta-
Just
I
thought
gotta
I'd
do it.
ask.
Please humor me for another moment, if you will. Couldn't help but notice on the internet when these Astro Bot sales came out, a lot of people that pretty sure at one point or another, at one time or another, that these individuals would ask you the question, but why do you care about sales? Why do sales matter to you? You're a gamer, enjoy the games. Why do they matter? I've seen quite a few people.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people do that, including I do, but you really shouldn't care about sales. Your first and foremost thing when playing a game, is it fun? Is it enjoyable? Did I enjoy my time? And if it's successful, hell yeah. If it's not, oh well. Not much we can do about it. Not many people are interested in it, you know what I mean?
On the internet, who more than likely said that numerous times. Suddenly they now care. They're very interested in Astro Bot sales numbers. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I think we know why. But that's just kind of something I noticed, you know? I guess sales don't matter until they do. Sales matter until they don't. I think the sales of Astro Bot...
Yeah, sales don't matter for the individual gamer, mate. Like, yeah, you can try and say, oh, they do matter, but not to you. Your goal, you're not someone that is invested in Sony. You don't make money from Sony. You make money from covering them. You're an influencer that benefits from them existing. But you're not someone that has stock in them. So how much a game sells is up to you. It doesn't really matter. Like, when I talk about PC, I don't need Steam to succeed for me to continue playing on PC or talking about it in my videos. I don't need all these PC part providers to succeed. They mean nothing to me. I just buy their parts. For their games, they mean nothing to me unless I've been with the franchise for a long time, then I kinda give a shit, like with Halo and Gears. Like, I would understand then, that's more reasonable if you've been with those games, but, it's Astro Bot, just one game. Well, kind of a second game.
absolutely do matter. I think that Sony may not necessarily care too much whether or not it's a 3 million seller or 1.5 million seller, because I think they're going to continue to make Astro Bot games regardless. It's their mascot now. but I do think the sales do matter because, well, let's face it. If the idea is Astro Bot sells 1.5 million, then that means the sequel, which presumably will come out at the end of this generation and maybe be a cross-gen title, a launch title for PS6, but also released on PS5. The sequel should sell more than that. So we can see there's actual growth. We can see that it's actually on an upward trajectory.
Basically got a different system for each generation. Fair enough. I had like a PS5, then an X1, then a PS5. Usually end up getting others at the same point or the gen. Fair enough. Alright, so you just more of like playing on all the platforms, getting a feel for all of them, having access to everything. Fair enough. That's reasonable. You got the money to do it. Or hear me out, you know, a bit of an elitist take. You should get PC. Get PC. Win. Get everyone's games. Yeah, winning. Emulation. Save all that money. You know, I'll convince everyone to go to PC eventually. It'll take time. We'll get there. But I'm sure you've already got a PC if you buy all these platforms, so... Man's making bank. Oh, that's it. Oh, well, we'll move on to the next MBG clip where we can actually laugh at him at something. Here we go. This one, what I like, because, you know, he gets a little bit mad over people talking about him, and he gets a little bit surprised.
MBG, it's crazy how Xbox players talk about sales when their own company only talks about downloads. They talk crap when Hellblade did not even sell.
Ew, Hellblade,
Well,
yucky game.
That's why it's a joke. I'll be honest, man. Like I know I've kind of referenced this stuff multiple times today, but it's not even relevant. You know, these opinions of people, these words that people type, like they mean nothing. Well, they mean as much.
Yeah, and if they mean nothing, why do you PlayStation fanboys? Oh, car speeding outside. Loud bastard he was. I hate living next to a very big main road. But anyway. Like, if sales aren't important, and then these numbers are not important, and fanboys always don't, because this is also what PlayStation fanboys do. They always mention numbers of certain games selling well, or selling a certain amount, or talking about certain hours. Why is it important for them to bring it up on both sides? It's really annoying. You shouldn't be caring about these numbers. They're not for you. You don't gain anything from knowing them. You only know that it may be successful or unsuccessful. That's pretty much it when it comes down to knowledge of a game. Hellblade was a decent walking simulator. I'm working and building my own. Honestly, I'm not too technically adept. But it's taking a while. I mean, it's not hard. I'd say the hardest part of building a PC was the motherboard and where everything goes, and it doesn't take too long. Just make sure you get a good case that isn't annoying to clean and fix, and do whatever else you need to whenever you need to go and clean out your PC. I need to clean out my PC recently again. Is there dust on it? Doesn't look like it. Nah, it's not thick with dust. I clean it very good. But yeah, just make sure you know where everything's going on the motherboard. You'll be good.
Just I want them.
Also, make sure you do the thermal paste very, very, very good, yes. Do not fuck up on the thermal paste. I'm learning as I go along, and I'm a slow learner. It's okay. You'll get there eventually. Once you build that PC, you'll be fine. You just gotta make sure it works. It isn't too hard. I'm sure there are people out there in the world that have an answer for every question that you may have, so that's the benefit of Reddit and all these other platforms.
To mean, right? But at the end of the day, like, they truly do mean nothing, because it's just, yeah, if there's something I've learned about, and I'm not just saying it's like Xbox fans, it's just it doesn't matter what they're associated with, but they're everywhere. It's just they're fucking idiots.
Agreed.
You know? Like, I'm saying to you, there's a lot of fucking idiots on the internet.
Based?
And
Based? MBG, I'm getting naked as we say that, bro. You got my attention. I'm leaning forward in my chair now, big boy. Also, holy shit, it's got 2.7k viewers. That's crazy. Why don't I have those type of viewers, huh? I've got 10 guys here. Gaslight me. Do it right now. Say that I have more. I'm a very famous man now.
And they will just say shit. They will just say shit. And they will just talk out of their ass. And there are two types of idiots. There are those that are genuinely just that dumb and don't realize like, how stupid they actually are and how stupid they actually sound
him in the mouth
with the things they're saying. And then there are the people who know they're being disingenuous. They know
like
they're saying things that if they were to be taken on by a more critical eye or more critical evaluation, they understand that they would probably get torn up, you know, and
Damn right.
it's fine. Like sometimes, you know, it's normal. I would say it's normal to have some bad takes sometimes. I think that's fine. Like we're all humans.
Yes,
sometimes we all do have some dumb takes.
I got some pretty bad
you
takes
know,
here and there.
It's normal, but it's just when you have, like, they're just like, there's a normalcy in having some dumb takes on occasion. Not every take can be the best or winning take, right?
Agreed.
And
you know,
that's
MBG's kind of base.
there's a
I
difference
thought he
between
would have
that
gone a little bit silly.
and just literally every take is just like dumber than the next, with
Yep.
no recovery.
That's
ever.
Reforge on God for the most part.
And you know what's weird is, like, if you see these people, because there are like, the unfortunate reality is there are people who have these just unbelievably consistent bad takes that just get.
Yeah, I can name a few fanboys off by hand. Japan hates Xbox, J-Dub, J-Tech, Reforge, Crap Gamer, he's a bit of a spastic, Xbox Curator, he's a bit of an idiot as well. Who else? Oh, there's a couple more people I can't remember the name off the top of my head. That generic Eric, he's a fucking idiot. BG, I don't hear too much about him, but I feel like his takes would be stupid from how he's responded to many other things. Who else? I have a couple more names that I can't put my finger on. I wouldn't say MBG because I don't really think he's that much of a fanboy. Yeah, he does some fanboy things, so I can't really put him in there. Harmon, I think he just does it to be an asshole. Colt, 50. Yeah, actually, no, I'd say Colt. Yeah, definitely. I've been seeing a lot of his stuff recently. He's kind of stupid, but I would say, yeah, he's a bit of a silly fanboy. But he does talk out of his ass. But when he's on Twitter, he has some reasonable takes for the most part when talking about games. So, on his channel, absolutely. Twitter, kinda. Who else? I think that's pretty much it. I can't really think of anyone else. We'll move on.
Get worse and worse and worse and worse. They do gain followings and they do have influence, and you know, some people say that I'm like that, but it's like, well, I mean, when you have to cherry pick everything I say and do, I think that kind of proves that to be untrue. But sure, believe what you want, I guess. But there are definitely people out there where it's just that, I guess what I'm trying to say is, man, like, I can't stand the disingenuous bullshit nature of it anymore. Like, I just can't. I don't have tolerance for it. And I realize that this is only going to do one thing, and it's going to annoy me.
Well, if you keep giving them feedback and you keep feeding the little rats we call J-Dub, Reforge, and all that, they'll just continue saying more stupid things. Yes, very loud squeak from my mic. Hell yeah. Well, mic stand. But yeah, if you keep feeding these idiots, they're gonna keep saying stupid stuff because it feeds them. It's just how bottom feeders work, you know? You feed them, they continue doing what works. Look at J-Dub, he's a complete idiot. He believes the PS5 Pro is gonna do 8K 60 FPS. And he's that gullible to believe what he's saying. And we've called him out many times, people have called him out, but he genuinely believes what he's saying. He's genuinely one of the dumbest rocks on the planet. J-Tech is not far behind. Reforge, I don't know, he tries to use big words to say that he's smart, but he isn't. Whenever he gets called out, he has a little cry.
Me. And that's probably exactly what they want. So, because of that, I'm just going to make the decision that, you know what, you can't annoy me. Not today. Satan, you know, like, not necessarily Satan, but not today. Maybe not tomorrow either. Maybe no more. I get it. Like, there are people who hide behind this behavior by acting like it's not that serious. It's all jokes. We're just having a good time. And it's like, I think you're just an asshole. But sure, just, that's fine. Like, you're an asshole. But if you just say you're just kidding, then I guess you're not. Right?
Well, look at Japan Hates Xbox as an example. I'm sure a lot of people think he's taking the piss, but he seems like a genuine idiot. Well, I would say that he exaggerates a lot of his tweets for someone that's a fat ginger that lives in America or something, you know. Fake Japanese man. I've never seen a very fluent Englishman that speak like he do. I don't think he's Japanese, bro. I don't think he ever is. He's laughing. He's lying. But I'll be entirely honest. For some of these fanboys, you can tell it's pretty obvious that they're baiting, you know? They don't really hide that they're baiting. They're not master trollers like Harmon. Harmon's really good at fucking with people.
Isn't that how this works? And I'm not playing people's games.
You know, I really do want to get Harmon on stream and have it take a piss with him, bro. That'd be great. Go on some little banter with Harmon. That would be fun. I want some of that. Honestly, I do.
Man. Like that's what I'm over and well beyond at this point. I still do catch glimpses of it. You know, I catch some strays. But people like to play games. And I'm not talking about video games. People like to play their games, and the only thing that matters to them, and this is the important part to understand for anybody. I know a lot of you already know this, but it's just worth mentioning for maybe those who don't. The only thing that you need to understand is the only thing that matters to these people who are playing these games is they want you to play the game with them. If you're playing the game...
Well, I wouldn't really say that, you know, King, Thras, Jadab, all that want you to play the game with them. They probably want you to call them out. I mean, then again, you are technically playing the game with them because you fell into the game and now you're playing it with them, but... I would say that most of them want you to be on their side, playing their game with them, you know, saying that PlayStation is better, or Xbox is better, or this and that's better, because whatever reason they may have. But at the end of the day, you call them out and they get mad and respond, so it's a constant feedback loop between each other. I just hope one day Reforge would notice me and ban me, or whatever else he's gonna do.
They win. The house always wins. So just don't play the game.
Agreed.
There you go.
Don't interact with these idiots. He's got a right idea. This is the community he created. Isn't he the one of these fucking idiots? He's just mad Death Stranding is on Xbox. Ah, yes, clearly that's what he's mad about. Lack of total self-awareness. Okay, now this one is kind of true, because, you know, MBG, holy fuck, forgot his name for a second, but yeah, he's played and done stuff like that, right? You know, he's actually leaned into that stuff, said a couple fanboy things, and yeah, I think he has confirmed occasionally that, you know, he does it on purpose to lead into it, so, you know, it would be kind of, you know, self-aware for him to call himself out, but, you know, he would never do that. He's a bit of a silly individual. So you would really have to ask yourself, is what he's saying here really true if he doesn't look himself in the mirror and say it, or is it just him calling out other people that do it to him, or he doesn't realize that he's doing it at the time? So there's really many ways you can look at this. It's just that he's kind of a bit of an idiot and may not realize that he also participates and does what he's saying. Like even I do, right? I dick around and say stupid things. I personally don't really care which console wins, because at the end of the day I don't use them, right? But when, you know, like Xbox does something bad, I want to call it out. When PlayStation does something bad, I want to call it out, you know? Gotta at least be fair and call everyone out, right? Because, you know, you don't want to be called a fanboy for a certain console. I mean, I get constantly called an Xbox fanboy. It's never gonna change, right? But then I have to correct them. I'm a PC fanboy. PC? Very winning. Winning platform. Now, I'm gonna quickly check if I can find those Reforge clips anywhere else on Twitter before I move on, and see if I can just get them done, because I really do want to find those clips. If I can find them, we can actually start looking at them. Anyone else posted those Reforge clips? I hope someone did. Come on, champ, let me find those Reforge clips. Wait a minute. That's interesting. Why did my viewership spike when the Gay Thunder thing comes on? Are people only here for Gay Thunder? That's mean. If I switch it over, will I lose viewers? Hell yeah, let's find that in a second if I can find this Reforge clip, champ. I don't think this is it, is it? No, it isn't. Oh, it's a DSP clip. What the fuck? What's that doing here? I'm nearly there. Ew, what are all these Alex pictures? Ew, yucky, stop doing that. I can't find it. Why can't I find it? Ew, what the fuck is this? Here, look at this, guys. Look at what I found here. Look, they put Alex in there. No way. Hell yeah. That seems right, doesn't it? What do you guys think? Where's all the other Xbox games? Why is there only Hellblade? There are more here. I keep forgetting their names, you know. No, I don't use their platform, you know. Very silly. But where is everything else? Where are they all, huh? Where are they? Why is Alex there? Why? Why is he there? What did he do? Why is he an Xbox game? What are the comments like? Let's see. Oh no, copyrighted music, let's not do that. That was close, I would have killed myself there. Let's see, so, are there any other games here that's coming out next year? I actually need to have a look at all these games, because most of it's like 2025 is going to be the year that Xbox actually gets something done. You would hope. What the fuck is this, bro? What? Oh. I just realized. Interesting. I just realized what that was. Oh well. I don't know what to say, but you know, very interesting that they immediately go. But yeah, there you go. Look at that. Look at that amazing Xbox game. Oh no, it's Alex, bro. That's crazy. But yeah, it's just a little silly tweet. We go back one. We scroll down some more. Oh, so we have this, right? I forgot to mention that, yeah, it seems just to be the same. Look at all these stupid memes. 4K ray tracing. Bro, Chem, you ain't getting 4K. I can tell you this for a fact. Look at all my feed. It's all just filled with stupid shit. It's either politics or just stuff like this. Also, I'm looking forward to Kingdom Come 2. I played the original one. It's gonna be... I'm looking forward to it. I want to play it. It's the type of shit I need to play, bro. I love that game. First one, peak. Second one, I hope it's absolute damn good, because the developer's doing everything right. He removed the nouveau. Very good. I appreciate it. What's the time? It's nearly 4. We haven't even been streaming for an hour yet, and I'm already done everything that I wanted to. Oh, great. PS5 Pro meme. Oh, gee willikers. Well, I don't really know what I want to do now, so I'm gonna quickly... You get out of there. Do I have anything else I want to cover? Because I won't prolong the stream too long if I've got nothing else to cover, boys. I actually just realized I need to go check War Thunder for my daily login. You know, you guys can watch me gamble live. How about that? Give me a second. We'll go get that done. Jesus Christ. I'll see what else I can find quickly to cover, because fuck, they're very angry that I didn't find stuff that I wanted to cover. But hopefully next week we'll have that issue fixed, since I'll hopefully have more time to mess around with, you know what I mean? So, I'll see what else I can do quickly. Oh, hell yeah, gambling live. We're very close to getting that 100-day thing. So let's see, what are we going to get from this? gonna fucking lose it if I get nothing. I'm actually quite happy with that. I can use that. So let's see. When does the event start? I want to get me KV. Dreams come true. It doesn't start soon. That's rough. Oh yeah, if I didn't mention this last stream, bro, if you play War Thunder, now's your chance to get some really big bonuses. So, I don't really have much else I want to do. I have a custom sound enabled, sound modification enabled. No, I do not have custom sounds right now. I had to update War Thunder. So, I guess I'm going to leave the stream here, boys. It's a bit of a short stream, but I don't want to waste your time with doing nothing for the next 3 hours, okay? So, we'll all see you in the next stream. So, I hope that doesn't bother you too much. I would rather just, you know, keep your time very good. Not waste your time too much. I wasted it by being here, so. I hope to see you all next time. I'm going to get started on working some other stuff, and I need to get a video started, so I'll get that stuff started. So, I'll see you on the next one. You all have a great day.